Hi everyone, and welcome to the next video in my series about what do you want from a drummer. Today I'm lucky enough to interview singer-songwriter Hattie Whitehead, who was described by Jazzwise as one of the best singers they had ever heard. She's had TV appearances with Jules Holland and was a winner of the Glastonbury's Emerging Talent competition. Hattie's gigs range completely across the board, from stadium tours with Young Voices to theatre shows with Hejira, playing and singing the music of Joni Mitchell, and then more intimate gigs playing her own music. With all this experience, I can't wait to hear what she can tell us about what she wants from a drummer. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and let's get straight over to the interview. Hattie, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure.
I want to talk about drummers. What we want to do is get a perspective from all different musicians on what drummers could do better. So I know you're a singer and you tour, well, we're on tour at the moment with Hejira. What other sorts of things do you do? It's nice to know so the drummers can get a perspective of where your point of view comes from.
So I am probably primarily a songwriter, write my own music and gig that and release it, quite often with a drummer, sometimes solo. And then I also work as a session singer. I do like some backing vocals on a tour called Young Voices, which is like much bigger scale production in arenas around the UK. And then like session stuff and obviously touring with Hejira.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they're quite different in terms of what the drummer's doing. Yeah.
They are. So I'll start with Young Voices because in the Young Voices setting, I'm just a singer. So that's quite different in the sense of like, I feel like I can kind of fit into the band without having to be thinking too much about the kind of rhythm section of the band. Sure. Like I just kind of slot in and I don't have to work my vocals usually around what the drummer's doing. That's
kind of stadium tour kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like arenas. So in London we do the O2 and then NEC Sheffield Arena, and now it's like Co-op Live, which is the new arena in Manchester. But yeah, actually, I mean, there are some moments in that where the vocalists like have to slot in, like if there's like a fast bit that's 3-part harmony, then that has to like really lock in with the drummer. And the drummer on that gig, we do loads of medleys, so it's like constant tempo changes.
Who is it? Is it various or is it one person?
No, that's one. Actually, there's a drummer and a percussionist. And drummer is a guy called Phil Crabb, who has, do you know him?
I don't know.
He's done like, he plays everything really. He's like an amazing pop drummer. Yeah. He's like really in the pocket, and then he's also great at jazz. He's really versatile, which is why he's on that gig. He can basically play anything. Like we do like, sometimes we'll do a standard and sometimes we'll do a piece of classical music. So it's very varied on that. So
really broad.
So he needs to be really on it, and actually there's a huge responsibility on him for that whole show because there's a conductor, but really the conductor and the drummer is like, who's really in charge of this? Because he's got to also work with a conductor he's conducting like 8,000 children singing. So it's quite a complicated setup.
So what does he do? I mean, you've said he's brilliant and obviously he follows the conductor, but from your point of view, when you're standing there singing, what is he doing that makes you think actually he's great? This is great.
He's got amazing feel. Like it never feels kind of unnatural, and some of the changes in medleys are like totally mad changes. But it always feels like really like normal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
So he's really good with that. He's always really on it because in the rehearsals, the rehearsals are 3 hours long, and then the show is 2 hours long, and we have a little break for dinner in the middle. So he has to do a 3-hour rehearsal of staying focused on the conductor the whole time because the conductor has to keep the attention of 8,000 children for 3 hours. And then the drummer has to be there to pick up at every bar number. You know, he'll be like, okay, let's take it from bar 57.
Sure.
And Phil has to know exactly where that is all the time. So his focus is just like unwavering. Like other members of the band, we like do like silly stuff and like prank each other. Phil is just always has to be like completely in the zone. Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. But yeah, he's very good. And there's also a percussion player called Simone Ravello.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you know her?
Anything to do with Jason?
Yeah.
Right,
His sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know of her. Yeah.
And she's amazing as well. Yeah. She's kind of like adding
the
texture
stuff.
and adding fun. We did a Muppets medley once, and she was just like, watching her in the
Super
Muppets
busy.
medley was like, oh my God, that's like going to the gym for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that compare to your own music then? The drummer's role in that and how that works and what you want versus kind of the stadium thing.
I think I kind of like, as a singer-guitarist, I definitely have a better idea of like knowing what I need, because usually I'm singing and playing guitar in the capacity of like the front person in a sense. So like for my own stuff, I'm obviously writing the songs and bringing them in a gigging sense. You know, I need someone that is a really, really good listener, is really like emotionally connected to the music and kind of gets it, and you know, it resonates with them. My drummer is a guy called Pete Hill. Okay. And he's like,
actually,
really,
I've heard him. He's great.
Yeah. He's like a really creative and sensitive player. And he doesn't go for my music is kind of, it's probably best described as like kind of indie, like alternative folk kind of thing.
Actually, you've just got an album out, haven't you?
Yeah.
So what's the album? Just because then people can go and actually listen to you and him. And
it's
relate to this.
The album's called Bloom, and it's everywhere. So if you just search Hattie Whitehead Bloom, you'll find it in whatever way you like to listen to music. But yes, Pete, he's always he's been my drummer since the beginning. So we've been playing together for like, must be like 11 years, 12 years now.
Okay.
I remember his first rehearsals that he did with my band, and he just came in and I had a really simple song that was like finger picking, but it was very like dun 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 dun. And instead of just like playing something really kind of generic along to that, he brought in like a beat that really changed the sound of the song and made it so much more interesting.
Okay.
But it was what was needed for that song. It's always like, I think with music, I can be quite like, it's all about honouring the song for me and doing whatever is needed to get across the sentiment of the song. Sure. And sometimes what the song needs is something that's more busy to support it and to kind of give it like an interesting,
interesting
element. And sometimes what it needs is something super simple that leaves enough space to like give a kind of bed for the like emotional content in the song. So Pete's really good at doing that.
So do you talk about that when you've got a new song? Do you just play and he goes, "What about this?" Or do you actually sit there and go, "I think this"? How does it work?
I've come to rehearsals with an idea of what I want before, and it's usually like, "Can you go like pshoo, plee, blah blah blah," sound effects. Yeah.
And he goes,
I've got slightly better at like naming the different parts of the drums now. But yeah, he's and then sometimes I'll just play it and we'll just kind of jam for a bit, and then quite often, you know, Pete plays something that goes with it. It's like, yeah, exactly that. And we have a lot of parallels in our music taste as well. So I think that helps.
You're into the same sort of things, so the perspective is from the same place.
We're into a lot of the same bands. Pete plays on like quite a vast range of stuff. he's like a really amazing hip hop drummer. He's also incredible at jazz. And like, I'm pretty sure he's been in like metal bands in the past as well. He'll probably correct me if I'm wrong, if he watches this. But yeah, I think the fact that he has that diversity in what he's listened to in the past means that whatever he brings to the songs is something that's quite original and kind of, it draws on all the best bits of the different genres. Like, there's parts in some of my songs where I like really sing out and belt, and he knows to like really lay into the drum kit for those bits. Like,
so he literally follows your line.
Yeah, he just kind of like we don't. To be honest, we don't use a lot of words when we're doing it. I think I'm really lucky that I've met someone that he's like also a really good friend. So we have an understanding of each other, and it's quite like that with like all of the musicians that I play with, really. So yeah, I think that answers that question.
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So with your album, isn't the producer a drummer as well?
Yes.
So does that have anything to do with how your music comes together? Does that play a role?
Yeah, I mean, he's played a big part in the sound of the record, from a drums point of view as well. A lot of the playing on the album is Pete, who's my drummer, but John Reynolds is the producer, and he's an amazing drummer, and so he's played on a few of them as well. And actually there's one track on the album that can
you tell us which one, because people would probably listen?
It's called Machine.
Okay.
That's John, and like that track is it's like a very different sound to a lot of the other stuff, but it still kind of works in the context of the album. But yeah, John plays something on that that's just like no other song of mine, and it's really interesting and it's exciting, and so like working with him was really good in that respect as well. With the Hejira stuff, I suppose it's different because the songs are not mine, but there is definitely like a kind of emotional element to it, and following like a kind of journey with the song and understanding it. And I think what Rick does really well is he gets the songs. He's a huge fan of Joni Mitchell. The songs like really get him in an emotional place, and so he's really good at following that as well. And also he can lay into the kit, like when it's like a rocking out song. So that's, I guess that's similar in that sense, but we're both playing someone else's music, so you have to like approach it with care as well, and you're playing it to a load of people who the music means loads to them as well. And when it's not your own songs that's in that capacity, then it's a slightly more daunting thing. But yeah, I mean, there's parts in the Hejira set where me and Rick really have to lock in with each other. So again, that's about like, being able to hear the guitar, because I'm doing like finger picking stuff, like on Hejira, for example. I'm doing like a picking pattern, which I start and I set the tempo. So Rick really needs to be able to hear where I'm sitting with that. Because I mean, it's probably fairly similar most nights, but I'm sure it's not exactly the same any night to the next. So it's important. I think it's important that we're like really in sync rhythmically with that.
Okay, I mean, that's an interesting point on this gig, because obviously Rick does it and then Tom's come in as well. Now for me on percussion, they couldn't be more different, but they're both great. And I know what that means for me on percussion, but do you have the same experience where you go, actually with Tom I get more of this and a bit less of that, and with Rick I get this and that, and I think they're so far apart as players, but they both play a great gig. Definitely. So,
I think I mean, obviously me and Rick have done loads more gigs together than I've done with Tom, but it sits in a completely different place. Completely.
And does that affect you vocally? Or is it still the song and it's just... Because I play completely differently.
Yeah. I think it does. I think I maybe do sing it differently.
A bit different, yeah.
With Rick playing. I'm not sure if I could say exactly how, but I feel like Tom maybe sits back on it a little bit more.
That's the same.
And Rick drives it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
do you have
it's
a
just a different
preference,
vibe.
or is it just a different vibe?
For that specific song, do you know, I don't actually know.
No, okay.
I think I really like the driving on, because I think with Hejira actually, I do know what I think. With Hejira, it's quite a long song.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about the sorry, I'm thinking of the show. You're talking about the actual song.
Oh, I'm talking about that actual song.
Sure.
It's quite a long song, so I think the driving of it is quite important for like the pulse of the song.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, I think maybe sitting back on it a bit more, kind of, there's a more of an emphasis on the kind of like groovy, like that kind of element. Yeah.
Cool.
Don't know.
That's really good. That's great.
That's interesting that you say that though, yeah.
So some stuff for drummers that they should, that I think is really important. As a singer, what do you not want from a drummer? What are the kind of absolutely not again?
Probably someone that wants to show their chops all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes for any musician, to be honest. It's like, it's a thing of like following the kind of energy of the music that you're playing, and that being at the forefront of everything you do, rather than like demonstrating an ability to do something.
Sure.
It's about feeling the music, and working with that, and working with the other musicians in the band, like kind of just like listening to each other and responding in that way. So yeah, I think probably that, and also I could do without. I've played gigs before where I've done an intro to a song and set the tempo, and then the drummers come in and they've obviously thought, no, this is what the tempo should be. But then when you're the one singing the song, you usually set it at a tempo because that's where you feel it's most comfortable to sing.
Sure. Okay.
So yeah, I think it's really important to me that, especially when I'm setting up songs and when they're like, if it's my own as well, that is really kind of like listened to and
do you ever discuss that? Because I've been the drummer on that gig, if you like, not your gig, but where I've sat there and I thought that tempo's not right, and I normally go with it, but I will often try and talk to the person afterwards and go, and sometimes they'll go, oh no, I just felt like this tonight, and other times they'll go, yeah, it was terrible, wasn't it? If I do that again, just put me right. So is that something you kind of talk about, or
I think,
or is it different on different gigs, or
maybe it's different on different gigs? I know that I know this is about drums, but my bassist Loz, he's like done lots of MDing for my band as well, and he will sometimes, listen out for tempos as well, and he's usually maybe more the one to like raise things like that with me.
Oh, okay. Go, you were here, and maybe it was here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think actually, I mean, I feel that every performance is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
And whatever mood you're in as the person that's delivering the like lyrics and the song, like the vocals, it's quite important to go with that.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel
so
that
you
it
view
is
it,
for certain gigs anyway.
You view, let's say your music, your picture of it is more, not that we are recreating what I recorded on the CD, but this is now tonight.
Yeah.
Go with me tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
In this way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, very important, because that is the beauty of live music to me, is that like, that is its own thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we could just all just play to track.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some gigs, some great gigs actually, but where I felt like it is so close to the CD. It's kind of,
Yeah.
I want to see what other stuff they've got.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh.
When it's too polished, it's kind of like, do I believe this?
Yeah. And sometimes you want it to go a bit and just a bit more.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So let's move away from the musical stuff. What would be the non-musical things that you either really do want or really don't want? What should people be taking care of that isn't necessarily to do with actually hitting the drums?
I really like someone who is reliable. That's a good question. I don't really know. I think just someone that I like get on with as well.
Yeah.
Like when you're touring, you need to be able to get on with people. Like you need
just
to
have a nice time.
Yeah. Exactly. And also, someone that's sort of relatively like calm and easygoing. And away from the music, stop thinking about music. Reliable. I think it helps to be like quite punctual, because if you need to be in a venue for a sound check at a specific time, there's a reason for that. And if everything gets later and later, it becomes more and more stressful. So someone that can be like, there, set up, ready to go.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
And positive, like someone that's positive and open and like happy to be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Not necessarily just positive all the time, but someone that's...
This will be okay, we'll get through it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. One more question. What do you think drummers should spend their time working on? From a singer's point of view, what, that thing that you go, I wish they do more of that.
Locking in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With?
My guitar.
Great,
I think like locking in with the tempo, like not wavering from it. Someone that's really solid with that.
Yeah.
That's like that for me. That's like one of the best. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Like, okay, we're safe here. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. That's it. That was really cool. Thank you ever so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Excellent. I'm sure everyone will look up your album and have a listen, and that was really great.